It's 2 a.m. in a dimly lit apartment, the air thick with the hum of a single lamp. The room is quiet, but the silence feels heavy, like something is waiting to be said.
He's staring at a blank page, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The rhythm of his breathing matches the slow tap of his fingers, like he's trying to summon something from the void. A melody starts to form in his mind, not quite there yet, but close enough to feel real. It's like a whisper in the dark, a promise of something greater, something that hasn't been born yet. The idea of day and night isn't just a concept. It's a feeling, a contrast between light and dark, between clarity and confusion, between what you know and what you don't. It's not just about time, it's about the space between moments, the space where ideas are born and where they vanish, leaving only the echo of something that once was. So what exactly are we talking about? It's not just a song, it's a moment. A moment that captures a boy, a city, and a truth that lingers in the quiet spaces between dreams and reality. It's the sound of a mind that's been through too much, trying to make sense of a world that doesn't always make sense. It's the echo of a child who's grown up too fast and isn't sure if he's ready to let go. It's not just about time, it's about the weight of time. The way it passes, the way it marks us, and the way it leaves us with nothing but the memory of a moment that once felt real. The song is a mirror. It doesn't just reflect the boy who wrote it, it reflects the boy who listened to it. The boy who felt the same way and needed to know he wasn't alone. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a voice that came from the silence. A voice that found its way through the noise and reminded the world that even in the darkest night, there's a light waiting to be seen. This isn't just a song, it's a mirror. A mirror that reflects your own life, your own struggles, your own quiet battles. It doesn't shout, it whispers and you listen. Kid Cudi didn't just write about night and day. He wrote about the push and pull of being alive, the moments when you feel like you're drowning, and the moments when you catch your breath. You should care because this music doesn't just touch you, it stays with you. It lingers in your thoughts, in your dreams, in the spaces between your words. It doesn't let go. In a world that often ignores the quiet, this song is a reminder that the silence is real, that the pain is real, and that sometimes the only thing that matters is that you're not alone. So yes, you should care, not because it's popular or because it's trendy, but because it speaks to something deeper, something that's always been there waiting to be heard. Before Day and Night was a song, it was an idea born from a storm. Kid Cudi had just moved to New York, chasing dreams that felt out of reach, and the city's cold nights mirrored the ache in his soul. He started writing late at night, when the world felt quiet enough to hear his thoughts. The lyrics were raw, emotional, and unfiltered, capturing the pain of being lost in a city that didn't understand him. As the days passed, the song evolved, becoming more than just a track. It became a lifeline, a way for Kid Cudi to process his emotions and find clarity in the chaos of his life. By the time Day and Night was finished, it was more than a song. It was a testament to survival, to resilience, and to the quiet strength of someone who refused to let the darkness define them. This song wasn't just about light and dark. It was about the journey between them, the path from despair to hope, and the courage it took to walk it. It's not about time, it's about feeling. Day and night are just two sides of the same storm. You feel it in your bones, like the world is holding its breath. Day is when you try to pretend everything's okay. Night is when you finally let the truth in. It's not about light and dark, it's about being seen and not being seen. You don't choose day or night. You live between them like a heartbeat, like a breath, like a song that never ends. Day and night are just two parts of a whole. And in that whole, there's a kid who learned to feel more than he could ever say. It starts with a quiet room, the kind you find in the back of a small apartment, where the walls are thin and the world feels far away. The air is heavy with the weight of unfinished thoughts, and the silence is more present than the music. It's not just a space, it's a state of mind. There's a sense of purpose here, but also a kind of surrender. You're not trying to make something perfect, you're trying to make it real. The setup is simple, but it's everything. It's where the dream of the song begins, and where the struggle of creation takes its first breath. This is where the story of Day and Night begins. Not with a melody or a beat, but with a moment that feels like the edge of something vast and unknown. He starts with the rhythm, the heartbeat of the track. A simple, steady beat that feels like the pulse of a sleeping city, heavy and slow, like the world is holding its breath. Then the melody comes in soft, like a whisper through a cracked window. It's not loud, not flashy, but it carries the weight of something unresolved, something that lingers in the air. The lyrics are sparse, like the spaces between the notes. They don't demand attention, but they hang in the air, heavy with meaning, like a memory that refuses to fade. The vocals are layered, like shadows overlapping. Each voice carries a different emotion, and together they create a kind of distance, a space between the listener and the song where the truth feels just out of reach. Finally, the track builds, not with loudness but with tension. A slow, creeping crescendo that feels like the sky is closing in, like the night is trying to swallow the day whole. The twist isn't just a melody, it's a metaphor. It's the moment where the night doesn't end but folds back into itself, like a shadow stretching into the morning. It's the sound of a child's voice lost in the distance, echoing like a memory that never fully fades. It's the quietest scream in the world. The twist is the sound of something unresolved. It's not a resolution. It's a question left hanging, like a door that never closes. It's the sound of a world that doesn't want to end. It's the hum of a heart that's still beating, even when the lights go out. This is how it works. Not with resolution, but with resonance. Not with a final note, but with a question that lingers. There's a rhythm in the sky, an invisible pulse that moves through the earth, a vibration that hums in the bones of every living thing. It's not just light and dark. It's the beat of the planet itself. A slow, ancient drum that has been beating since the first moment of time. Kid Cudi didn't just write about day and night. He listened to the world's heartbeat, felt it in his chest, and turned it into something real. The science is in the silence, in the space between light and dark, in the way the world breathes and waits for the next moment to begin. Day and night isn't just a song, it's a mirror. It reflects the weight of a life lived in the glow of a screen, where reality and illusion blur like the edges of a dream. The beat is a heartbeat, the melody a breath. It's the sound of a kid who never grew up, still dancing in a world that moved on without him. It's the sound of a voice that's been through the fire, but still finds a way to sing, even when the words are just whispers of what used to be. Kid Cudi doesn't just make music. He makes a kind of truth that only the tired and the broken can hear and still believe in. In Day and Night, the lines between waking and sleeping, between pain and peace, are just as blurred as the line between who we are and who we wish we could be. There's a line that sounds like it's from a dream, but it's real. It's the moment he saw the light in the window, the way it cut through the darkness like a promise. He didn't know it then, but that light would become the symbol of his journey. The day he found his way back from the night that almost swallowed him whole. The line isn't just poetic, it's a map. A map of where he was and where he was going and how he got there without a compass. It's the kind of moment that feels like it came from somewhere else, like a memory he didn't live, or a song he didn't write. But it's all true. The line is a lie, but it's the kind of lie that holds the truth. It's how he stayed alive, how he found the light, and how he finally let it in. The first myth is that Day and Night was a straightforward, upbeat track. But that's not the case. It was a slow, heavy, emotional journey through loss and regret. People think it's a love song, but it's more about the weight of memory and the struggle to move forward. It's not just about someone else, it's about the narrator's own heart. The beat is slow, almost like a heartbeat. It's not about dancing or celebration, it's about bearing witness to the pain of a moment that won't let go. This myth is busted because Day and Night isn't just a song. It's a moment, a feeling, a place where time stands still, and the heart is left in the dark. The second myth is that Day and Night was written in one night, like a fever dream. But that's not how it happened. It was a slow burn, a quiet unraveling of thoughts and feelings. The idea came from a place of exhaustion, not inspiration. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was more like a whisper, a thought that kept returning, like a ghost in the back of your mind. People like to think creativity is sudden, but it's often the result of long, silent work. It's the hours spent in the dark, thinking about things you can't quite put into words. The song wasn't born in a rush. It was built over time, piece by piece, like a puzzle that only makes sense when you step back and look at it all together. So when you hear Day and Night, remember it wasn't just a moment. It was a process, a quiet journey through darkness, waiting for the light to come. It's not just in the music, it's in the way we move through the world, caught between light and shadow, seeking something we can't quite name. We all have days where the light feels heavy, and the night feels like a refuge, a place to let the weight of the world settle. We don't always know where we're going, but we keep moving, like the music, like the night, like the silence between the beats. It's in the way we carry the weight of the day, and then let it fall away when the night comes, and we're left with the space to breathe. I remember the first time I heard Day and Night in full. It wasn't just a song, it was a moment. A quiet, aching truth that felt like it had been waiting to be said. It was like the world had paused, and for a second everything made sense. The loneliness, the struggle, the hope, it all came together in that melody. It wasn't just music, it was a confession. The beat was simple, almost too simple, but in that simplicity there was power. It didn't try to be loud or dramatic, it just existed, and that was enough. I think that's what made it so real. It wasn't about making a statement, it was about being honest. About showing the world a part of yourself that you didn't know how to explain. When the song finally came out, it felt like a release. Like all those emotions that had been bottled up for so long had finally found their way out. And for a moment, the world listened. There was a moment, a single instant, where the music stopped breathing. The beat faded, the layers peeled away, and all that was left was the silence, heavy, unrelenting, like the weight of the world pressing down on a single note. Then, like a spark in the dark, something shifted. A new rhythm, not just heard but felt, a pulse in the chest, a vibration in the bones. It wasn't just music anymore. It was a presence, an entity that had found its voice. Cudi wasn't just making music. He was building a movement, a space where pain, doubt, and longing could be heard without judgment. It was raw, it was real, and it didn't apologize. In that moment, with the world holding its breath, Cudi didn't just create an album. He created a moment, a time when music stopped being a distraction and became everything. The weight of the world started pressing down on him. And for the first time, he felt like he was carrying something too heavy to hold. The music that once felt like a lifeline now echoed with emptiness, a reminder of all the promises he couldn't keep. He tried to fight it, but the darkness crept in like a shadow he couldn't shake, and it started to change him. The music stopped, the world stopped. And for a moment, he was just a boy who lost everything, including himself. But even in the silence, there was a spark, a whisper of the dream that once was, and maybe still could be. There's a price for being a visionary. The world doesn't always reward the ones who see beyond the horizon. The industry doesn't care about the artist's soul. It only cares about the product, the hit, the chart, the algorithm. Sometimes the truth is too heavy to carry. The world doesn't want to hear it, and the artist is left to carry it alone. The downside isn't listed on the brochure. It's the quiet cost of trying to be real in a world that only wants to sell the illusion. Kid Cudi tried to build a world out of sound and soul, but the world only wants the echo. We were animals once, living in the dark, chasing shadows, feeling the weight of the world with every breath. Then one day we looked up, and the sky told us a story we hadn't understood before. We learned to measure time not by the rhythm of our hearts, but by the turning of the earth itself. Day and night became more than just light and dark. They became a language, a rhythm, a way to understand the world. It was a quiet revolution, one that changed how we saw the world and how we saw ourselves. There's a weird edge case where the album feels like it's being sung to a ghost. It's like the music is trying to reach someone who's already left, and the words are just echoes in the silence. The album becomes its own listener, and for a moment, you feel like you're not listening at all. It's the quietest kind of loneliness, the kind that doesn't need words to be understood. And maybe that's the truest part of the album, that it's not about the music, but the silence it leaves behind. What if we didn't just take this music and let it be? What if we twisted it, made it something else? Something darker, something that wasn't meant to be heard. We could take the rhythm, the beat, the raw emotion, and force it into something that wasn't just heard, but felt. Something that burrowed into the bones and whispered lies. What if this wasn't just music anymore? What if it was a tool, a means to an end? A way to silence the world, to drown out the voices that don't fit, that don't belong. The beat is still there, it's always been there. But now it's not just heard, it's felt, it's lived, and maybe that's the real danger of it all. It's not just about the music anymore, it's about what we do with it, what we let it become, and what we let it do to us. Day and Night isn't just a song, it's a mirror. A mirror that reflects the weight of growing up, of carrying the world on your back and not knowing if you'll ever feel light again. It's not just about time passing. It's about the space between moments, when the day fades into night and you're left with the silence that used to comfort you, now feels like a prison. In a way, Day and Night is a confession. A confession that the world is heavy and you're not sure if you can carry it. But you try anyway because that's what you do. It's not the most colourful song, but it's the most honest. And in a world full of noise, that's the kind of music that makes you feel like you're not alone. Experts still argue over the meaning behind day and night. Some say it's about the duality of human experience, while others insist it's a metaphor for the struggle between light and darkness in the soul. There's no consensus on whether the song is a personal confession or a universal plea. Some claim it's about a specific relationship, while others see it as a reflection on isolation and mental health. The ambiguity of the lyrics has led to endless interpretations, each one trying to capture something deeper than the words themselves. Some say the song is about finding hope in the dark, while others believe it's a warning that the night never truly ends. And so the debate continues, not because there's a single truth, but because the song invites each listener to find their own meaning in its silence. It's not just the words that make the song work, it's the way they are arranged, like pieces of a puzzle that only fit together in a certain way. The structure is so tight, it feels like it was built to echo the rhythm of a heartbeat, steady and familiar. Kid Cudi didn't just write the melody. He designed the whole thing to feel like a journey, like you're walking through a quiet, lonely place with no end in sight. The trick is in the repetition, the way the same phrases are layered, like echoes in a cathedral, building something that feels both intimate and vast. It's not just a song, it's a feeling, a space where time stands still, and all you have is the music and your own thoughts. Before you go, if you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell us in the comments what you'd like us to make next. We read every single one. Thank you so much for watching. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end.